Now, let me quickly also introduce our panelists who joined. The panel discussion will be spearheaded and moderated by Mr. Harish Chandra, who's the CTO with Sarovar Hotels and Resorts. And he's someone who has often believed that IT is the nerve center of the hospitality business. We also have Mr. Ravinder Pal Singh, who's the Chief Information and Innovation Officer, who's often also believed that investing in AI and robotics is important to elevate the customer experience. And he is the Chief Information Innovation Officer with Air Vistara. We're also joined by Mr. Satyendra K Dwivedi, who's the CTO with Mahindra Holidays and Resorts. And he's also been part of several internet driven startups. So there's a strong technology background coming in there. So we're going to look forward to some more insights there as well. And we also have Mr. Rajesh Chopra, who's a Senior Vice President IT with Oberoi Hotels and Resorts, a prolific 30 years of experience and more, especially when it comes to IT strategy. We also have Mr. Mansur Baig joining us, who's the Area Director, IT, South Asia with Marriott Hotels. When we talk about the Marriott, we know that innovation is at the heart of it, especially while striving for a cleaner and a greener environment and hospitality business. We also have Mr. Tom Welbury, who's the Chief Product Officer with Bloom Hotel Group. They aim to be the best and not just the largest, but I believe Mr. Tom will be joining us in a minute. So what we'll do is, because the session is live, let's get the insights flowing in, and I will request Mr. Harish Chandra, our session moderator, to take it forward from here. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Kavya. On behalf of Noesis, I would like to welcome all our participants and panelists on our today's afternoon technology webinar, Role of Technology. This is a very strange time, very different time. I don't know what to say. These are very unprecedented times, and we all are adapting to the ways of life that COVID is asking us to practice, which is putting our health above all priorities. These are difficult times for business globally with lockdowns, restricted mode, barriers of movement of people, and many more. Social distancing, health and hygiene protocols have become a buzzword today, and everybody is proactively working to ensure that risk is contained. Government, industry bodies, business, and all are taking necessary steps to ensure continuity. With the flights taking the skies and hotels about to start operations, everyone is anxious as how the business will be conducted in the new normal. Today, we are trying to attempt various viewpoints from various stakeholders of hospitality industry to highlight the best practices that are being adopted and the ways and means to ensure that travelers and employees remain hale and healthy, and how travel and tourism industry can win sentiments of our customers so that we remain in business. Customer is king. We try to create a home away from home in hotels. We want to keep everything very simple and sober in the new norm to keep our customer employees safe. Hotels are trying to adopt all the high tech and testless cost effective solutions. I get many calls from my friends. They ask me, how can they do pre-arrival check-in in a hotel? Can they pay using Paytm or through other digital medias? Can they put a service request through WhatsApp? Many queries are coming because everyone is trying to go contactless, testless. I would like to now ask some questions here. Mr. Rajesh Chopra, the Oberoi Group is associated globally for providing ultra luxury stay experience to the guest. Most of the Oberoi Group resorts are acclaimed as world's best resorts. I would like to know what kind of silver lining do you see at the end of pandemic in terms of new business where technology can play some important role. Over to you, Mr. Chopra.
Sir, Mr. Chopra is joining us in a moment, so you can proceed with the next question to any of the
Okay.
panelists.
Okay. Now my next question is for Mr. Mansur Baig. What will be the new norm for technology at our hospitality after COVID-19 in terms of contactless and going digital?
Thanks, Harish. It's a great question. So, as you rightly given a brief of current status of the industry in terms of the hospitality, and as you can see, you already briefly explained what is the status of the current condition of the industry, which the new norm, what we call, right? So, how we can sustain with the new norm, and what kind of technology we should adopt in terms of driving the efficiencies at the properties, and also providing the great results to our property. So as you asked in your questions, so contactless technology and the digitalizing is the new norm. What we are working through in a number of hospital industries. So specifically talking about contactless technology, starting, as you can say, the hospitality industry will, when you start from your receiving the guest at the gate, parking their cars, using the digitalizing way of valet system. So with we are adopting, a number of hospitality industries also adopting a different technology in terms of that. Especially talking about a contactless. So looking into the how we can digitalizing or going a contactless with the car, starting from the car system, like how can we give a guest a QR method, a system which guest can scan to get the status of his car, where it is parked, and how he can request that car back instead of having the human contact, is the new norm what we're going through. So we are looking through those technologies and implementing a number of our hospitality industries as well. Also going through the check-in check-out solution of having a mobile apps, doing a check-in with the mobile app, and also doing a checkout with the mobile app. Also have providing a QR code options where guests can scan the QR code to do the check-in formalities, having uploading the credentials data, doing the payment process through the QR code, using their own device, right? So going through the complete contactless as well. So we prefer to, prefer to providing the some of those technologies which guests can rely and use their own equipment instead of relying the equipment which is available at the hospital, at the hotels nowadays. So we are looking into some of those technologies like QR code scanning. When you scan the QR code, you get your registration card, all the details on your phone, update those information and fill it up and send it back to the hotel, which has a interconnectivity with your PMS system and happens auto all process automatically, and also doing the checkout process as well in the similar format, and how we can implement the digital payment. So we are looking into that phase as well to work with the number of vendors available in the market to implement some of the digital payments. So there is a no need of having a guest to touch some of those POS devices at the properties, and to do the process of the payment. So now, as you know, that digital payments becoming a new norm in India as well. So having some of these digitalizing way of implementing at the guest, we will win the we will win the guest confidence as well. Also, we're looking into some of the technology like in-room dining, having a QR code app. So once you scan the QR code, you will get your menus on the phone, place the order, put into the request to the F&B team. So get your food at the room. Some of those technologies, we're looking into that, some of those as well. And also, as you mentioned, can we chat to the AIS with a WhatsApp? We may not going to that route, but we are using some of our own products of Marriott to see how we can we already have that in place as well. How we can actively communicate with the AIS team and request some of these activities like towels or anything what they need in terms of providing the assistance. Instead of having guests pick up the phone and dial the number, we are implementing some of this. We already implemented some of these technologies at our hotels, where you can actively chat with our AWS team virtually and contactless. And also, we are looking into and already implemented in some of one of our few properties that how we can digitalizing and making a contactless TV remote TV menu system, right? Instead of having the brochures, having the digitalization card at the rooms, how we can go completely digital, how we can go completely contactless, right? So that's something also we are looking into the same apps to build into it, so that when you scan this QR code, you have this all information on in the guest hands, available, ready to use, including the spa booking. So we're looking into each and every aspect, how we can do the spa booking without having a contact with the spa associates, etc. F&B dining outlets as well, pretty much same thing what we're looking, how we can place an order, pay the bill using your own phone, sign the checks using your phone. So completely going and looking at all the possibilities of doing the contactless, using the number of technologies vendors we have available in the market to make that happen. With this COVID-19, I think technology going to take a big role in this and implementing some of these contactless technologies at our hotels. Also, going completely digital will be the new norm.
Okay. So basically, Marriott would leverage on BYOD, bring your own device, to go totally contactless, go green, no papers, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We are looking into that phase. So we want to give assurance to the guests that we will provide all the technology needed for them, for them to stay like where they used to stay previously, and not having any contact, or giving that kind of assurance that technology will serve the need of the hour.
Thank you, Mansur, for your great insights. Now over
Thanks,
to Mr. Ravinder Pal. Welcome. Mr. Ravinder Pal, who's a lot of people, I'm not really sure how many people know about him. He's not only Chief Information Officer, he's also Chief Innovation Officer. He has done many things in life. I just heard about his profile that he is a hardware alumni, technologist with several patents. His patents are really amazing. I've never seen any CIO with so many patents. He's also a rescue pilot. Amazing. He's also investor. I've not seen a CIO with so many portfolios. I'm really happy that this is such a great panel, and we will really like to enlighten all the audience over here. So, Mr. Ravinder, I would like to know something. You have many technology patents under you.
Harish, we lost you. Yeah.
I heard that you are making robots for the how portable. What I'm saying is, I will repeat my question now. I heard that Mr. Ravinder Pal is making robots for the hospitals. I want to know how we can use the same robots for hospitals and hotels and airports. How portable SAT, which he has built, is helping in rescue missions and makeshift hospitals.
So I lost you somewhere in between. I'm just an engineer. CIO is just a designation which has been given to me. Most of my work or body of work is outside of a professional sphere. So whatever I'm going to talk, it has got nothing to do with me being CIO or being an employee of something. Robotics is something which I know. I'm a skilled robotics engineer. Now, before I explain, I'll just spend a few minutes, to explain how I view things are going to change. There would be very, very rarely happen that we will see two eras, and we will see two eras which are going to change how people think and how they use technologies. And these two eras will be one, which is the pre-vaccination era and post-vaccination era. In pre-vaccination era, buying habits, including buying
I think there was some challenge with the Wi-Fi. I think we all are back now. I'm audible to all, Mansur? I'm audible?
Yeah.
We all were there. I think we lost you in between.
Okay, so may I repeat my question? I think my question was not very clear to you. Am I right?
Yeah. Just I got a gist to it, but feel free to repeat. Thank you.
Okay. I came to know that you have many technology patents under you. I also heard that you are making robots for the hospitals. I want to know how we can use the same robots which are used in hospitals for hotels and airport. How portable SAT, which you built, is helping rescue missions and makeshift hospitals.
So I was explaining. So I was just explaining them. So before I get into the actual use cases of robots, I am certain about that there would be two eras which are going to hit us, and we are already part of one era, which is a pre-vaccination era. In pre-vaccination era, humans are going to behave in a very, very different way. They are going to believe more in tech. Some of them will take an extreme measure of reducing their contacts with other humans, physical contacts with other humans, and they will delightfully use tech. One of the things which we never understood, one of the reasons why we never understood this particular fact, which was always happening in an area of technology, because most decision makers were were way older, is that a language was appearing, a language which was appearing between teenagers and people who are even not teenagers. They are way more younger. They were interacting more with machines than with humans. So there was a kind of a language which was appearing, which is not there in Oxford Dictionary or in anyone this thing. That language has come to rescue for most youngsters or most folks, who were acquainted with that. Now, in this pre-vaccination era, people who are relatively older, they will struggle. They will struggle, and the reason why they will struggle is that they don't understand the nuances of this particular language. Hence, robotics is one of the ways. So simple robots will come into purview. When I say simple both in terms of their interactions with humans and also affordability. Robotics as a discipline has been marginalized, both from the politics of technology, which everyone says that if you build robots, then you're going to take away some jobs. And the other one is that most of the complexity of robotics lies in the area which is a high-tech area, or in the area of aerospace, or in the area of mining, or in the area of deep sea operations or rigs and all that stuff. This would be the first time when robotics may become mainstream. I'm careful over here; they will become mainstream. Mainstream in a sense that for the very first time, cost of employing or cost of employment versus value for life will come into picture. So if you don't have to do a certain job where the risk of infection is very high, or risk of getting COVID is very high, people will be willing to say, hey, these things machines should take. So that's the whole concept of robot. Now, why it was easier for me, because when I designed my first robot, that was arguably one of the cheapest robots designed. The robot was pretty simple. It was based upon simple mechanics of rotable motors using Oberoi, Raspberry, these kind of open source tools. And now this can be used for simple things, for sanitation, for giving dispensers, for ensuring everyone is wearing masks and all the stuff. And this is not pertaining to hospitals per se. You can literally do your queue management, at reception, or finding out which doctor is there for which patients and all that stuff, which are mostly, if I'm a computer science engineer, which is mostly related to discrete mathematics or shortest path algorithm and all that stuff. You can actually do it in hotels. Why basically take a risk of having a couple of people to take temperatures, ensure, give them dispenser. Why not basically move around a machine which basically finds out that who's wearing mask and who's not wearing masks, and so on and so forth. You can take it to a next level, which was my second robot, which can be used as a restaurant robot, in which it basically serves people. Now there would be a conflict, because till now hospitality industry in India has been famous and renowned for the physical interaction and how do we treat our guests. So that is one place where a culture shift will happen, and how that happen, I'm just an engineer, so I don't know. But these are the things, where technology in a pre-vaccination area will play a role. Post-vaccination era will be a very, very different era. Those are the era where things will normalize. People are going to value their life. People are going to value time. Anything related to luxury or anything related to people living together or resorts, in my view, will take lot of traffic. Leisure travel will boom. Business is a tricky one. Not many people realize that workplace was never known as a hazard-free place. Only thing is that this particular COVID-19 has exposed that. Nobody ever claimed that workplace is a hazard-free place. Okay, so that's my take on robotics. Second thing is, which most people don't talk about that, because that's not sexy. It's basically communication. Never ever in the history of applying computer science, communication has played a very important role, whether it is the volume of data which we are crunching, whether it is the compute cost or the lowering of compute cost, or whether it is the networks. And if you combine all these three, most models which are coming, they are not coming, these models are not coming from the old-fashioned way where biological engineers or scientists or doctors or medical professionals are basically saying, hey, what you need to do. It is basically these networks which are allowing this particular data to come together. Now, problem over here, and this comes as my hands-on experience as a frontline worker, is that you cannot just depend on hospitals. Think about villages in India. The time it takes for a person to move from one village to come to a nearest hospital which has got a ventilator or a testing ability is huge. So you need to set up that network locally over here. And that's where, for the very first time, like robotics, cheap network equipments or a cluster of cheap network equipments will come into play, and they will get their due. They will get their boring due after a very, very long time. So that's the answer to your point on cheap satellite-based communication and robotics.
Okay, great, very good. Good to know that robots can be used. I only thought of two things where robots can be used in hotels. One was to clean public areas, guest rooms, and second was to deliver basic things like shampoo, newspaper, or tea or coffee. Nothing more than that I've thought. But yes, it's a very great insight, and we'll see how we can use robots. Can you give me some ballpark figure of one robot? I don't know who can help in queue management or who can help people in telling that they have not wore the mask or XYZ. Only for the lobby management, what would be the cost of a robot?
Okay, so the robot, so it depends upon how do you want to. If you are a CIO of a very large hotel or something like that, then of course you're going to employ very expensive people. You're going to go for very sexy OEMs and all that stuff. I'm just a Karigar person. I'm just an engineer. So I work with mechanics and I work with people who can fabricate, and I learn from students whom I teach. I'm more of an academic person.
Okay.
And that's why the first thing which I do is that I basically say that, hey, look, my views don't reflect anyone else's views, and I'm not the C-level guy at all. If you ask me bill of material of a robot, okay, simplest robot which can do few things correctly. That means it can walk on a line or on a direction which has been coded, one. It can interact with humans based upon a predefined taxonomy of languages and how it has to be interacted. It can go to a huge source of knowledge, which is internet, and understand what is there and find right answers for you, okay? The total bill of material is less than 25,000 rupees, okay? So you can literally build in less than 25,000 rupees, and I'm talking about building a single robot. If you want to put a factory, it will come lower. If you basically take this particular robot and you basically say, hey, this robot has to shake hands, it has to recognize names, it has to do certain tasks like taking thermal equipment and measuring a temperature, or it has to basically take a bottle, use a set of at least 2 fingers. So you are talking about finger movements, and you have to press to a certain scale so that the liquid comes, and it has to also understand when the liquid is not more, and it can go back to that. You add roughly about 18,000 to 20,000 rupees more, and I'm talking about Indian rupees. These are not dollars ones, right? So you add to that. Now, if you want to even extend that, and you say that, hey, this is the map of my hotel, and this is the difference between these 2 rooms, and at a certain set of interval, okay, this robot has to go and basically interact with guests in that particular room, probably give towels or something like that, and wait there for some time, okay? You basically don't have to add that 18,000 rupees plus some software code will do. So if you have some developer who knows how to work with, in a Raspberry Pi, or is a decent Java developer or a Python developer, they can actually code. So it depends on total manpower. So you add 10,000 rupees more on that. Now there is other thing. If you want to use this particular robot to work with a chef and to serve dishes and greet this particular thing, you add then certain parts, because then you have to have a finger movements. It has to hold a tray. It has to ensure that the center of gravity, which is the most important thing in the design and fabrication of a robot, is right. It has also to ensure that it doesn't loses itself in a crowd. If somebody hits that, then the balance should be there and all this stuff. Then you add another 25,000, 30,000 rupees, and I'm talking about material cost. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying that to achieve reputable tasks, okay, and it can go to an extent of cleaning toilets, cleaning floors, sanitizing an area which is a measurable, predictable area. That means that area doesn't change its dimension and all those stuff. You can literally have parts of less than 50,000 rupees or something like that, and add a couple of developers or robotics engineers, and you can actually build a robot in roughly about a lakh or 1.5 lakh rupees. Now, if you go to some system integrator or something like that, or that's a different cost. You must have an overhead. You want to have a designer. You want to have an architect. You want to put good colors and all of that is your cost. But engineering cost is not high for these kind of robots.
Thank you, Ravinder. Thank you, Ravinder. I was not aware. I was told that robots will cost me minimum 8 lakh rupees. You have opened our eyes. Really, this is very interesting. We all will touch base with you offline.
So I will tell you a simple clue. If all of us are near Delhi NCR, and if some people who know Gurgaon per se, there is a temple known as the Shitla Mata temple in Gurgaon. You go literally about 60 feet ahead of Shitla Mata temple. On the right hand side, you have 4 shops, which are basically car mechanic shop. Okay. My fabrication of my first robot was actually done by a car mechanic. So if a car mechanic who can actually convert a decent Indian car and camouflage it into a very, very sexy sports car, trust me, he can do a wonderful job without a bachelor's of engineering degree from IIT.
Great, great. We all thought robots are very expensive, but the way things are happening, robots are now must to have, not good to have. We'll take your help later to save our industry and jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Great insight. Satyendra, any inputs how robots can be used in our hotel industry? Any thoughts you have?
Yeah, Ravinder has covered very well, right? You can use for room delivery, ordering, cleaning. Cleaning is a fantastic example. Kitchens can be used. Robots can be used. Actually, I'm totally aligned with Ravinder, and I'm sure many of us are experimenting with this automation process.
Okay.
So, yeah, for sure it can be used. It's a huge potential there. Actually, I don't want to discuss more, but we are in process of automating certain things using robotics.
Wonderful. I have another question for you. For revival and reopening post-COVID, we all are exploring role of technology in the new guest experience. What will be the experience expectation of customers in respective industries, say airlines, hotels? How technology is going to help them? Will our industries go through fundamental changes? If yes, in what aspects and for how long?
So we all heard Ravinder, right? He said there were 2 eras, pre-vaccination and post-vaccination, right? Okay. So totally aligned to that. But let me like, what exactly happening today? People are in fear. Fear of getting infected, fear of family members getting infected, fear of not getting treated, fear of hospitals too, right? Fear, right? That is the main problem for us. Otherwise, it's not a big deal. It's influenza. We all know that, right? Customers want an experience which does not increase their fear, make them feel safe. That is what customers are looking for, nothing else. None of us want our fear to increase, right? This feeling will come if business operates in certain way. If business can make people, feel safer, people will come back. Safety first and low touch is going to help. Nothing else. Safety first and low touch. Okay. No casual approach to the safety. That is the biggest concern for Indian consumer. Okay. Casual approach. We are talking about safety. How many people are going to implement in the right way? We don't know. How tech can help. Okay. I think the 2 ways, right? Empower guests to take control of many activities themselves, right? Carry your own device, whatever you want to do it. Guest is not going to trust easily anyone else. None of us want to believe on someone else, right? We want to take control of. That's why anything which we can do in our own mobile, we are happy to do. I'm not willing to touch your mobile also. I'm not willing to touch your phone also. I'm not willing to touch your door also, right? So people want to take control themselves. That's one way tech can help, right? The check-ins, pre-check-ins, checkout, payments, ordering, request, you name it, right? People want to do everything from their own device. They don't want to believe your device. That's one way tech can help, right? Second thing, okay, automating guest services, safety process to reduce dependency on staff. That's what Ravinder has mentioned, right? Sanitization, lift operation, thermal monitoring, you name it, right? These are not the responsibility of the guest, but it is of staff. But they don't want to trust the staff. So if we can automate, technology can automate these things, right? Guests will not get scared, right? This will reduce the fear of the guest. And these are two ways we can help, and I'm sure technology people are working on these things, and some are doing software wise, and Ravinder type of people are working on the hardware side, right? Okay, limited operation is going to be near future, we all know that. Like slowly people will get feel of safety. First, people will be the people who want to go for emergency needs, right? People have to travel, people have to fly, people will have to go for business trips, right? Okay, no, but slowly people will get, it will be limited for sure in near future, right? Now it is up to us as an industry, right, how we ramp up our process systems and communicate effectively to our guests and make them comfortable that we are safe venue. You can come to us, we are not casual, we can take care of you, okay? And here are the provisions, even you can take care of yourself while you are visiting. See, we are very lucky compared to the cinemas and other industry where the crowd is there. At least hospitality, we don't have that problem of crowd as cinema has, right? Okay, so we are lucky. Okay, for sure industry will come back, okay, slowly or faster. It depends on the respective players how they operate, right? Domestic tourism is for sure going to be focused, there's no doubt about it, okay, and it is going to be there for long time. Domestic will be focused, international is not going to be focused. Yeah.
True. Very good. I think Mr. Rajesh Chopra is not here, so I'll pass about the questions of Mr. Chopra to all of you, if you don't mind. Okay. Our business is badly affected. Mr. Chopra, are you there? Are you connected on voice?
I'm on a voice call. If it helps you.
Oh, great. Good to have you back on voice. So, the Oberoi Group is associated globally for providing ultra luxury stay experience to the guest. Most of the Oberoi hotels are acclaimed as world's best hotels and resort. What kind of silver lining do you see at the end of pandemic in terms of new business models where technology can play a certain role?
Thank you, Harish, and apologies for bad connection today because of the road digging happened just in front of my house while we are discussing a technology session. So new business models will emerge in terms of high-end hotels serving food to people at home. And for technology for us, since in the initial timings, the attendance to MICE events, business events is going to be limited by regulatory authorities, I see a big scope for us to deploy IT-enabled solutions, internet-enabled solutions. It could be a webcasting. If organization is launching a product and they want to showcase that product to 5,000 dealers across the world, a secured webcasting link would really help that company to release a product. So there, as a technologist, probably we can enable a webcasting, we can enable town halls for the corporates, which would generate additional business stream. Secondly, one of the panelists was talking about bringing on devices. Maybe can we tie up with leading newspapers, press readers, to give content to them on the device, maybe at an additional cost. The guests may like to have a room where they don't touch the electric panels, switches, but at the same time, can Alexa kind of devices help? I'm sure where guests would not mind paying extra for those devices. In my view, these business models should emerge in coming days.
Very good. Great. So what I'm able to recollect from all is that everyone think is going towards BYOD, bring your own device guest. He does not trust hotel system processes and he want to rely on his device which he always carry in his pocket. Am I right?
Yep.
Great, great. Now, Mr. Chopra, you have touched on something like webcasting of marriages. So all these fat marriages which happen, which gives us maximum money in terms of banquets, can we do it separately? Say if a family is spread it over New Delhi in say at least 50 locations within New Delhi or Mumbai, how we can do that? Is it very easy or we have to devise some means and ways or we have to take some technology partners to enable the solution?
Harish, today the best thing that could happen in the pandemic situation to India as a country was that we have an excellent infrastructure in terms of bandwidths available, the connectivity which is available. There could be an event which could be organized in batches of 30 people in 10 hotels across the different areas, and they all could be connected over a direct link. Fortunately for us, infrastructure is in place. It's question of creating a model and having the right partners to implement it. It's all doable and it will happen because the economy won't stop. As the numbers are growing, the economies are opening up, people will continue to do businesses. New product launches would happen, new marriages, we are going to hit marriage season 2 months from now, marriages would happen, and tools like webcasting, tools like broad video broadcasting, multi-party conferencing for people to really do conferences and all. I think these things would come up very soon. And to answer your question, yes, we are ready. As a country, as a industry, we have the underlying infrastructure available which can be used for this activity.
Okay, very good. I think now time is very less. We have last 5 minutes and there are some questions. I think I'll not carry with my questions. We'll take questions from the audience. The first question is from Mr. Rakesh Patel. Automation technology will have a key role in our industry, true, but won't the human interaction lose out? Hospitality, I believe, is an industry which involves a lot of human emotions. Mr. Chopra, I think you can take this question very well.
So I think Mr. Rakesh is very right in pointing out this imbalance. We are a human touch industry. We have taken pride in serving people personally. So we will have to find a balance between the two. By maintaining safe distance, giving a quality service is going to be the edge on which we'll all have to walk in. So technology can reduce contact with the guest, but it cannot eliminate. Still, we need a server to go and serve the food. If the server is properly he's sanitized, he can assure guests that he is clean and the service can be provided. I think that is a confidence that we'll need to win.
Okay, very good. I have a question from Mr. Chinmay Pradhan. What are technologies we can use in banquets and F&B? Anyone would like to take this question? I'll repeat. What are technologies we can use in banquets and F&B? I have heard of plexiglasses for social distancing. I know about disposable plates, forks, and spoons. Rest, I leave it to you, gentlemen.
So it's covering, Harish, I can take this as an F&B overall. So there are a number of applications available in the industry as of now. I'm not going to specify the vendor names, but yeah, there are a number of applications available. They're going to build as per your requirements, right? So hospitality industries are reaching out to them and design the way they need, like dynamic menus in terms of dynamic menus and putting everything in a digitalized way, right? And there are multiple vendors available. I'm happy to share offline, and then some of the products which can be completely built as per the property needs and customize the needs in terms of the digitalizing as well as making it completely contactless, so that as everyone mentioned, which we can by using some of this application, which we can build the confidence for the guests to use their own device and then use our technology to implement and provide the services what they want.
Okay, great. Now we have very few minutes left here. I would request all the panelists to conclude this session in 2-3 lines, please. Over to Mr. Satyendra.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, right, we have to give the confidence to our guest that our place is safe for you. You can come here, you can come with your family, and we will take care of you. Our warmth is not going to be less, okay, even though our touch will be not there, so low touch, but warmth is not going away. The service is not meant to be touchy, you don't have to touch people. You can still pass the same feeling, emotions from distance, right? You can take care of your guest without having the contact, right? So that confidence has to be given back to our guest, and I'm sure many of us ourselves are guests, and we will get the confidence. We'll start using airlines, we'll start visiting the resorts, hotels, right? So, and industry will come back soon.
Very well said, Satyendra. Thank you so much. Mr. Ravinder Pal, over to you.
This is a valuable time where we should build communities. Okay, this is the time to actually build communities and work together. That's one. And second thing is, this is actually a right time because just because of the nature of this particular problem, where we can actually look at any industry or any domain in its wholesome avatar, and try to redefine most things. Some of the things which may be used because they were being used like before for several decades. So change is far more easier. Rarely it happens that the change it's easier, but community is something which is there. As an example, I was struggling to get parts for my ventilator, which I was trying to build. If somebody would have helped me with those particular parts, it would have been. So it's a time to build communities and build newer and kind of machines which will change industry.
I think we are at our industry. All our hospitality industries are ready to build that confidence back between the guest and our associate, right? So using the number of technologies or contactless technologies we have, or we are implementing in multiple properties, and also using the new norm of implementing the digitalizing way, we are making sure that we are not we want to make sure that we are implementing those technologies not to lose the confidence between the guest and the associate, also as well as how we can implement the personalized services as well at a social distance, right? So those has been our criteria at the respective properties, and I'm sure industry is going to that phase, and we are adapting some of those new norms and building that trust between the both associate as well as the guest and who's receiving at the property. So I think once we remove the fear factor and stepping into one of our hotels, you will feel that kind of new game in the industry, and then definitely the new norm will be available to experience. So it's completely a new experience for the guest as well. So definitely we'll boom up our industry back, starting with the domestic, all the level to international very soon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Baig. Mr. Chopra, over to you finally.
Harish, while the pandemic have been very severe, all of us have been impacted personally and professionally in this COVID-19 era. But I see an opportunity here for all of us to really innovate, digitalize, and move ahead. This industry will definitely bounce back very soon. We are seeing very good results in the initial days when the industry has opened in the last 2-3 days' time. And I see no reason why the industry will not bounce back. Just look at few very basic things. The way we started communicating, collaborating, which was not there in that period, COVID stage. Since we are now wrapping up, so I think on my part, I see technology playing a very big role in revitalizing the industry.
Great. So I think now we are done with our panel. Thank you, Noesis. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, audience.